page or it's on Project Woodhaven. We'll post it again. And this was the press conference that was held here on 96th Street in Woodhaven in the days after the snowstorm that we had earlier this year, when Eric Ulrich, our councilman, blasted the city for their response. And that's exactly what was needed. And they got response. They got results that night. Eric did a great job, and he joins us now. Eric, how are you?
Hi, Ed. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, please. It's a pleasure. That was, thinking back on that, that was such a rough week when we had that, we had that storm, we had the disastrous response, and then you had this press conference. I remember standing out there, freezing our butts off, climbing over mountains of snow in the middle of 96th Street, but it worked. Why does it sometimes take a circus to get something done?
They say the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's exactly what's necessary. The city and the mayor, declared that 98% of the streets were clear, and that was not true in Woodhaven and Richmond Hill and Ozone Park, where blocks upon blocks remained unplowed for days after the storm. And what was fascinating was Channel 7 Eyewitness News sent a helicopter to the neighborhood to take an aerial shot, and they showed white grids, just an entire white grid of streets that remained unplowed, and that is exactly where we were standing. And the sad thing was it shouldn't have to come to that. We shouldn't have to embarrass the city or shame the city into giving us our basic fair share of services. But if that's what it takes, that's what has to be done, and that's what I did. And within days they bought. Within hours, not even days, within hours of that press conference, if you remember, they sent a backhoe and they sent a special front loader to come in and literally just haul out the snow, 3 feet of snow almost in some cases, section by section. So I think it was a big success, actually.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was a great way to get a response. I mean, it had the desired effect. It was just shocking that we had to go to that length. So now in the wake of that, there came some rumbling, and now more recently in the Daily News, there's articles that you might be thinking of a run for mayor. So I guess is that on the horizon for you?
Well, listen, all I said was that I wouldn't rule it out, and that I would consider it if I thought that I would have the proper support and that people would get behind me, and if I thought there was a chance to win. I'm not going to run to lose. Nobody runs to lose. Mm-hmm. One thing is clear is that a lot of people in this city don't like Bill deBlasio. Democrats and Republicans alike. Yeah. They don't approve of the job he's doing, and people are just really not confident in his ability to be a good mayor and to unite people in the city behind him. And when you're the mayor, when you're in public office, you have to be for all the people, not just the people that voted for you, the people that like you, the people that you agree with. You really have to try to represent all of the people in the city or in your particular district. And I think that's the fatal flaw with Bill deBlasio, is that he panders to the people that he likes or the people that put him in office, but he has no interest in servicing the parts of the city that maybe people are not crazy about him, but you still have to represent. Mm-hmm. And that's a big problem. And so if there's nobody else holding him accountable, if there's nobody else standing up to him, and the administration, when they fail legitimately, then I'm glad to be that person. But I don't know in what capacity that's going to happen.
Well, recently, he has been... Listen, he's almost under siege. I mean, now there's just story after story. There's corruption probes. There's, the many of the people in the city don't like him. I mean, if there's ever a mayor that's really ripe for challenge, and a city that is looking for something different than their current mayor, this is the current situation right now.
It's an opportunity. It's not the only opportunity. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take a good look at it. I'm going to meet with my friends and my family and my supporters and see what they have to say over the next few weeks and months. I'm going to go out and raise some money and see if there's any real, support out there for someone that might want to take him on. Look, I mean, given the news stories, what I'm reading and what you're reading in the paper every day, it's not clear that he may even make it to the end of his term. Mm-hmm. Who knows? And, if the vacancy is created and there's a citywide nonpartisan special election, I don't have to give up my seat in the city council. I can run. I've got nothing to lose. If the people like me and they agree with me, they'll vote for me. If not, I go back to doing my job, which I'm very happy to do. And that's one thing that since these news reports have come out, I've been trying to really stay on top of, is to show people in my district that I'm not running around the rest of the city. I'm still here in Woodhaven and in Rockaway today and in Howard Beach tomorrow, to show people that you elected me to do a job. I'm still doing my job. People want me to run for mayor. I'm flattered. But unless they're going to dump a ton of money into this race, I'm probably not going to do it, and I'm very happy to be your councilman.
Fantastic. Well, it's funny. You talk about the media, and you wonder how much the media actually really understands this area. I know you were recently interviewed on TV in which they talked about this area and really didn't seem to understand exactly how diverse this area really is.
Oh, this district is incredibly diverse. It's probably one of the most diverse in the city of New York. Look at Woodhaven, friend. I don't have to tell you. You're there almost your whole life, if not your whole life. And the number of Hispanic and South Asian immigrants and Asian, Chinese immigrants that are moving into the community, buying homes, sending their kids to the schools, opening up small businesses on the avenue. They want a piece of the American dream, and I'm very proud to represent them in the city council. And that's just one neighborhood. What about Ozone Park and Richmond Hill and South Ozone Park? I mean, these are parts of my district that are not white, that are not traditionally Republican voting, and they're areas that I win every time I run because I don't write anybody off, and I do want to represent all the people in my district, and I go to all the events and all the different neighborhood meetings that occur there, and that's very important to me because I never want anybody to say he's only for them, because that's really not the case. And that's the type of mayor that I think we need, is a mayor that wants to be the mayor for all the people in the city, all New Yorkers. That's really what we're lacking right now.
Well, talking about representing all people, sometimes it's very difficult because sometimes you're going to have issues that you're going to have to make a stance on that's going to make you popular or unpopular with different groups. So right now, the contentious issue, the SBS Select Bus Service, and there seemed to be some confusion, and I guess it came up at the Block Association last week regarding now that they've taken the left-hand turns out of the plan on Jamaica Avenue. There were, I guess, one of the blogs, Streets blog, was saying that you're back on board in favor of SBS. You had someone at your spokesman, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now, at the meeting said that's not really entirely true. So where do you stand right now on the current plan that's on the table?
Well, I was an early supporter of SBS. I think that Woodhaven Boulevard has the most congested corridor in all of Queens County, more cars on Woodhaven and Crossbay Boulevard than any other road in the borough. Queens Boulevard, Northern Boulevard, Merritt Boulevard, you name it, we've got the most, and that's not something we're particularly proud of. And I believe that SPS has a lot of potential, but it has to be done right. It can't be the cookie-cutter approach that how they did it in the Bronx, or how they did it in Manhattan, or how they did it in Brooklyn on Nostrand Avenue is necessarily how it's going to work here in Queens. It's a very unique, 3.2-mile stretch that I think has to be looked at comprehensively. And when the DOT was not being responsive, when they were not forthcoming with the crash data statistics and the congestion numbers that we were asking for, and they wanted to eliminate left turns on Jamaica Avenue and other parts of the stretch, I said, this is ridiculous. This is a good idea gone bad. I think it has a lot of potential. I don't think it's going to work in every part of Woodhaven Boulevard. I think it should be in sections. And I think it should work in the areas where we know it's going to work and where there's a real plan to make work. What me and, I don't want to speak for the assemblyman, but I sat down with Mike Miller, and we had a very long discussion on this, saying, why don't we put it in these parts and in the service road? Why are we going to put it in the middle of the main part of the street? It doesn't make any sense. It's going to be dangerous for people. I said, you know what, Mike, you're 100% right. Let's write a letter. We wrote a letter to DOT, and what we told them was drawing board. So it's not as if we don't want it at all, or that we're, 110% opposed to this. We don't think that it's going to result in any mode shift. What we're saying to DOT is listen to the community, work with the community, and we'll help you develop a plan that we think could work in some fashion and alleviate some of the congestion and encourage people to get out of their cars and onto mass transit and be a win for everybody. We're going to please 98%. There's still going to be 2% that never wanted it, never liked it from day one. We're not out to please those people. What we are trying to do is build consensus and come up with a plan that really works for our community and the people who live here.
I tell you, one of the proposals that you had made along Woodhaven Boulevard was to have the bus on the side of the bridge that goes over the train tracks right past Union Turnpike to have a grade level crossing there, so that the buses can go scoot right past the bridge and avoid all that traffic. And to me, that's such an easy solution that would save bus riders a tremendous amount of time.
As you noted, the cars and the buses that are on that bridge from Metropolitan Avenue, crossing over, driving south onto Union Turnpike, they are just stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic for 15 or 20 minutes on a good day. And what I said was, driving south, when you're on that service road, instead of making the right by the storage facility there, allow the buses to go straight. The cars don't go there anyway. They'll pop out on the other side. If I'm sitting in the car on the bridge, I'm going to say, look at all these buses whizzing by. Maybe I should take the bus too. Mm-hmm. And we gave that to the MTA. We gave that to the DOT, and they came back and said, the state and the railroad authority doesn't want to do it. And we said to them, this is an easy solution that could shave 10 or 15 or 20 minutes off a daily commute. Why wouldn't you want to do this? By the way, they already have a railroad crossing at 88th Street.
Right, it's right there,
when you go by where the old Cooper Ale House is, or what is the Yerman's Bar, and you drive down. I mean, it shows you how young I am. I know where those bars are. But anyway, you're driving down, you get to a railroad crossing. What does it cost them to do another one during the rush hours? And if there's a train coming, guess what? You put an arm down there. You put a gate there so that nobody's in any harm's way. But look, we gave them common sense solutions. We gave them ideas for what we think could work. We like the idea of paying at the curb. We think that could save a lot of time, right? People who swipe or pay their fare before they board the bus, so they're not taking forever looking for change or looking for their MetroCard in their purse or their wallet. And we asked them to implement pay at the curb. We asked them to put SPS in the service roads. We asked them to take smarter routes. And like you pointed out, the railroad crossing is a tremendous time saver. And for whatever reason, this is not part of the final proposal. I'm confident, though, that in the end they will get there. It's not something that is going to happen overnight, but we're slowly dragging them in the right direction. I think the elected officials, Senator Dabo, Assemblyman Miller, myself, being on the same page with DOT and MTA saying, please work with us. We'll help you come up with a plan that we think most people can accept that'll be good for the community. I think we're going to get there. I'm hoping we're going to get there, but I really do think it's going to happen.
Great. Shifting gears here a little bit, this weekend, and you're the chair of the committee on veterans. So I know this is a topic here of great interest to you. But this weekend, Memorial Day, and there's still a lot of great parades and celebrations. I shouldn't say celebrations. Services, ceremonies. Over this weekend. We used to have a parade here in Woodhaven years ago. Now I guess the big parade around here is really Forest Hills, but there's still a lot of them. So this weekend, which events are you? You must be heavily booked the whole weekend.
Yeah, I go to many. I'll be on Metropolitan Avenue on Sunday. I'll be in Broad Channel on Sunday. I'll be in Howard Beach and Rockaway on Monday, and I'm going to try to make it up to Little Neck too. I try to go not because I'm looking to show my face at a veterans event, but because I really want to pay my respects. It is a solemn event. Memorial Day is not Veterans Day. Veterans Day is in November, as we know. Memorial Day is about those who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our country and our freedoms, many of the freedoms that you and I so often take for granted, and remembering the sacrifices of the men and women who died on the beaches of Normandy, on the battlefields of Korea, in the jungles of Vietnam, in the mountains of Afghanistan, the deserts of Iraq. They fought and they died defending the greatest country that God has ever created on the face of the earth. And, America is great. We're greater than we've ever been. And, when people talk about making America great again, I know that's something Donald Trump likes to talk about. That bothers me because I think of all of the troops that have died defending this country. They died defending a great country. It was great 50 years ago, but we're a better country today because people are equal. We don't have segregation, and women have more rights. I mean, this is a great country, and we're going to get greater no matter who the president is. So I try to remind that to people, even people in my own party, that, we're a great country, and we have a lot to be proud of. And on Memorial Day, the one thing we ought to remember is the people who died defending the United States, and also the families that they left behind. Because I think it's very easy to remember the dead. Sometimes it's harder to remember the Gold Star mothers who grieve every night, and the spouses and the children of our veterans who never made it back in one piece or at all in some cases. And we remember them, and we honor their sacrifices, and we keep their memories alive, and we march for as long as God gives us the ability to march, to honor the dead and to take care of the living, because I think that's the right thing to do.
All right. Thank you, my friend. Listen, it's been great talking to you. Appreciate hearing from you, and we'll see you, I'm sure, someplace this weekend.
I'll see you for sure. Ed, thank you for having me again. Keep up the great work.
All right, brother. Be well. Take care.
Bye-bye.
And that is our Councilman Eric Ulrich, who, I think, this is, like you said, if there's ever a time for a change, but he's right, is deBlasio going to make it? So we'll see what happens there. But thanks to Eric for calling in. I know.